One of the best skills you can develop is learning how to predict what enemies are going to do. The better you get at this, the more effective you'll become in games, and the more you'll be able to survive engagements and get yourself even more eliminations than you're already getting. Being able to predict enemy movements consistently is something called game sense. Being able to read the play as it's unfolding in front of you and to take steps to actively get ahead of whatever that play is going to be. There are some really basic examples of what game sense is, right? Like if you see a zip line appearing on a roof in front of you, it's pretty straightforward that some type of an enemy is going to come up that zip line. So positioning yourself in a way to be ready for that person who's coming up the zip line is a form of game sense. Today we're going to talk into a bit more depth of what game sense is at a bit more of a deeper level. Not just predicting one play ahead of you, but 2 or 3 steps all at the same time. In this clip, we're defending our cash out and the team is pushing in. As I come up these stairs, I notice a really nice peek and look through to see if I can get some elims. But it also gets me tracked by this motion sensor. In most cases, this is a bad thing. Consider what the enemy is seeing here and think about how you can use that to your advantage. They're getting ping notifications and they see me all perfectly outlined in their view. They think they have the advantage of knowing exactly where I am and can use that to their advantage. But if you know that, you are a step ahead and you can actually turn the tables on them. This is a really good example of what I meant earlier about a deeper level of game sense. It's not just knowing where you need to position and how you need to protect the cash out. It's also understanding that the enemy's tracking device is going to give you an advantage by just sitting there and letting it track you. Another example is as I get the elimination on this heavy on the roof, I go to pull out my dome shield, but I don't put it down just yet. Why don't I put it down just yet? Because the fight is going to come to me soon, and I don't need it just yet. By delaying when I put my dome shield down, it ensures that I'm going to have protection for the player who's going to push up for this res, and who may be coming to push for me because their teammates said that I was low. Now, my health is starting to recharge, and I have a dome shield allowing me to fully protect my health regen, while I'm safe to deal with the person who's pushing me. In other cases, it will be obvious what the enemy is trying to do, like this player who's running up the stairs to try and plug this vault. And if I were to try and run directly behind them, there's no possible way I could catch them. But I know that I'm capable of making floor jumps, and it's clear that this light doesn't know about that. So I use that to my advantage to position myself much closer to them, allowing me to get the steal and then the plug. Another good example is like on Monaco, when you see somebody pushing into one of the buildings. Monaco buildings are all really static, and they all kind of have the same overall format. So you know that there's only really a couple of ways that this player can go, and that is either going to be up the stairs or out the back. So I make the guess that they're probably going to go up the stairs, and instead of chasing them directly, I do a window climb and I'm able to get in front of them. They obviously weren't prepared for me to be there, and I was able to get the elim really easily on them. Another good example is knowing how players are going to respond to your teammates in the area pushing them. In this case, both of my teammates are pushing on the last remaining light on this team in the final round. I know based on the format of the room that they're in that there's only a couple of possible ways that this player can come out, and there's no value in me following my teammates into the space. So instead, I stay outside to where I think that they could come out if they're able to get out of my teammates' grasp. And sure enough, just like I thought, they come right out to where I was waiting and I'm able to get the pick. You might be wondering, why did I choose this specific angle? It's not just because it was the closest to where I was, although that definitely played a factor. It was because I was also considering the vision of my teammates. If we go back and we look again at where I paused it before, I chose this angle because I also know that my teammates have the other angles covered based on their current positioning and the way that they're pushing into this room. So I also know that the other 2 exits that are potential options are low value for me to cover because they will see if the player goes that way. If you know the routes that the enemy can take, it allows you to keep yourself in positions to take advantage of players who are not paying attention. A lot of players, when they see a vault running away, will kind of tunnel vision into the fact that there's a vault running away and not be looking at the entire battlefield or considering what the potential dangers are. In this case, they tunnel on my vault runner who's going across the zip line, don't drop it themselves, and give me the opportunity to drop it on them. As I come across the zip line, I hear Shaq absolutely beaming my team. In the kill feed though, I see it's an M60, so now I know 2 different weapons the enemies are using. Since there's only 30 seconds left on the cash out, now that it's a 3v2, they're definitely going to push in on me and my teammate. I pop this gas to do two things. One, if an enemy comes up that way, it will hit them and give me a tick marker, so I'll know that they're there. The second part is I shoot to try and draw the enemy into where I am, and then I can carefully position myself for their push in and get myself a nice pick on the heavy here. Once I'm here, I notice that there's very little time left on the cash out, and I notice that there's a purple bubble shield that's gone up on the cash out itself. So I immediately pop my C4. I get an elimination. This now makes it a 2v1. One lock bolt later, and we're able to get this elimination cleaned up and finish this fight and get that cash out. This is what game sense looks like in real time. The more you play, the better your game sense will be, and you'll learn in no time to be one step ahead of enemies almost always. That's it for me today, y'all. Thanks for watching.